welcome to today's video. If you've been wondering how you can make your pictures pop off the screen without owning an expensive lens, this video is for you. So here is an image we have in Photoshop, and as you can see, although the subject is quite sharp, there are still some distracting things in the background. And I'm going to show you how we can quickly fake an effect of an expensive lens. The first thing we're going to do is duplicate the background layer. And then the next thing we're going to do is go straight to our selection tool. And we're going to make sure that we've got the plus selected. And we'll just increase the brush size slightly. And as you can see, we're just literally going to trace around the subject. Now we could use the select subject tool, which does a fairly good job most of the time, but it just shows you another way of doing a similar task. And it gives you a little bit more control. Next thing we'll do is we're just going to zoom in slightly, and we're just going to take a bit of this out. And what we'll do now is we'll go into select and mask. And if you've seen these videos before, you'll know that the red overlay shows you the areas that you're masking, which obviously doesn't always help when you've got a red outfit, but we can work around that. Next thing we'll do is we're going to choose the Refine Edge brush tool. We'll make sure we've got plus selected, and we're just going to brush over some of the areas of the hair because we don't want it to look too perfect. When you're outdoors, you're always going to get a few stray hairs blowing in the wind. It makes things look more realistic. So, there we go. We'll let Photoshop do its thing. Okay, so now that we're done, next thing we're going to do is we're going to output to new layer with layer mask, and we'll hit OK. And as you can see, what happens is it deactivates the layer below, and it also applies a mask around the area of the subject. So if we go and click on the background, but we'll just take that back down to normal size first. You can see we've almost got a perfect knockout, well, apart from the hand. So we need to go back and fix that. Quick way to do that, select the layer mask. Select white. We'll select a soft round brush tool, take the size down a bit, and we will just quickly paint that back in. That's one of the beauties of using layer masks. You make a mistake, you can very quickly bring things back. And there we have it. So what we're going to do now is we're going to turn the background on. And what we're going to do now is just turn on layer 1, which is a copy of the background before the mask was applied. We're going to select that layer, and then we're going to apply a blur by going to Filter, Blur, Gaussian Blur. And we're going to play around with the radius. And as you can see, just smoothing that up a bit. Now if you bring it up too much, you're going to start to see the edges of your subject starting to blur and some of the lines may start to show. So if you don't want to spend too much time tweaking, you can knock it back a little bit. Say something like maybe 20 pixels. And we say OK to that. And what we're going to do is we're going to switch over to the layer mask. And using the white brush, we're just going to paint around here, around the edges, just to bring those in. A little bit, and as you can see, we're very careful. Just tracing the edges, just allow it to run over ever so slightly. We can bring out the edges of our subject nice and sharp, and that then makes it stand out from the background. Which then draws attention to the subject, which is what the intention of your photograph is. And there you have it. If you compare that to the original, so we switch on the background, and you look at the original image, which has a bit of separation from the background, but you can still see people in the background, little bit sort of distracting. And this, and there you go, you have pop, and your image instantly leaps off the page. So, hope you've enjoyed this video, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Thanks for watching.